Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's me coming at you again with another vid. Well, Gennady Triple G Golovkin KOs Dominic Wade in the second round when it brings out his overall record at 35-0 with 32 KOs and his knockout streak of 22. Now, this fight right here was a total mismatch, a terrible mismatch by that matter. And I stated that in one of my previous videos. Okay? So, what I'm about to say right now, and believe me, guys, this is just my own opinion, and I'm speaking for me, and I'm not pleasing anyone else. It makes me wonder, given the whole situation, how this fight came about. It makes me wonder, and it should make you wonder also, is that how in the world or how in the hell did this guy, Dominic Wade, was even considered or installed as a mandatory excuse me, a mandatory challenger by the IBF. Now, I've already had a previous conversation with the boxing librarian about this, and his suggestion that was maybe due to time constraints, given the fact that Toriano Johnson, who was the initial mandatory challenger, pulls out pulls out of the fight, but they installed Wade as the mandatory challenger because he was ranked number three, and Johnson was ranked number one, and the number two slot is it's vacant right now, which I don't understand why. So that would explain why Wade was put in that position. Now, to me, I still find that kind of odd because typically in a situation like that, is that when a mandatory challenger pulls out of a fight, yes, I understand that there are situations that replacements do get made at the last minute, but in a position where the mandatory has been pulls out of a fight due to injury, the sanctioning body usually schedules a fight eliminator, where the other two fighters who are highly ranked in that sanctioned body will fight to become the mandatory. Okay, so I don't understand why in the world was Dominic Wade was not put in that position initially. Okay, he should have fought Murata to claim that position, make him earn it. Okay, his greatest win on his record was against Sam Solomon, and we all know Sam Solomon is a way over the hill prehistoric guy. Okay, tough guy though, but he is way over the hill and way past his prime. All right, and some people felt that he got a split decision in that fight against Solomon, and most people felt, including me, that he lost that fight. Okay, before that, he was fighting lower tier opposition like Nick Brinson, who almost KO'd him in that fight. And Brinson is, not a great top level fighter, but it is what it is. Now, just looking at this fight and the way it concluded, it's just to me, it's further frustrating and it's very disappointing that Gennady Golovkin is still is fighting opposition like this. Okay, this win right here does not do his resume any service whatsoever. It further weakens it. All right. And this whole bickering and this whole nonsense about how these other people are suggesting that Gennady Golovkin has achieved more than Bernard Hopkins in a way, and he superseded guys like Marvin Hagler and all that stuff. Wow. Okay, and let's be truthful here. First things first, Marvin Hagler, Carlos Monzon, Bernard Hopkins didn't fight this type of opposition. Okay, in their first 35 fights, pro fights, I should say. Now, Bernard Hopkins is the main topic here because the last few months there's been uproar and debate about whose resumes are better and who's greater between Hopkins and Triple G. Now, first things first, Triple G has yet to be proven. He hasn't yet to test himself. So to suggest that he's greater than Hopkins now is very laughable. I'm sorry, laughable. All right. Hopkins, to his credit, fought Lupe Aquino, John David Jackson, Glenn Johnson was undefeated, and Joe Lipsy was undefeated. A power punching middleweight at that point. Those guys were light years better than any of Golovkin's opponents that he's fought in his first 35 pro fights. Light years better. All right. So, and to those who say, and they know who I'm talking about, to those who say that the middleweight division is a much better elite division than the heavyweight division, I'm sorry, you need your brains checked because this fight right here does not prove it. All right, and the other champions who've ducked Golovkin are not fighting each other. So who are they going to fight? Billy Joe Saunders recently just pulled out of his fight against Matt Bursaw, so we don't know what he's going to do next. Danny Jacobs is supposed to get a fight with Andy Lee, so we'll see if that comes about. But other than that, this middleweight division is very stale right now because we have the most exciting fighter in that division, who I believe is the number one fighter in that division. He can't get a fight with the other champions or the other top middleweights. Now, where does he go from here? Okay. Now, we all know that Canelo fight is very, very unlikely at this point. We all know that because Canelo won't defend that title at 160. He only wants it at 155. So, now, there's also been recent talks that Loeffner would be interested of fighting Gilberto Ramirez at 168, who, by the way, is the 168-pound middleweight WBO champion who recently beat Arthur Abraham, which we all agree is way over the hill. So now this is very frustrating to me. You know, this is coming from Gate 2 and their inconsistencies. And I know I got burnt for saying this, but I'm stating the truth here. They cannot make up their minds on how they want to position Golovkin on certain to certain fights or approach to certain fights. First, they challenge fighters from 154 to 168. Then they come out and say, well, you know what? We'll only fight certain fighters at 154, naming Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. Okay? Then when they have the 168 situation, they say, well, we'll fight Froch and Chavez Jr. on 168. But when Andre Ward responds to the challenge, they want to offer him a catchweight. Okay? And then when James DeGale's name come about, James DeGale said that he wants to fight Golovkin. They said, okay, maybe we would be interested in the fight. But now when they mentioned Gilberto Ramirez's name, they said that James Golovkin fight is not noteworthy. They said that Ramirez is more worthy of a fight than James DeGale. So you know what I call that one, right? That's a duck by Golovkin and his team. So they're gonna say they want to fight Gilberto Ramirez, but not James DeGale. So that's a duck. There's no other way to describe it. No other way. Now, as far as Golovkin in middleweight division is concerned, I mean, if he can't get any solid fights there, he's gonna have to move up and test himself. Okay. If he can't get a unification bout with the other champions, at least fight another formidable middleweight like Chris Eubank Jr. I think that's would be a damn good fight. Make that fight happen, because I think Eubank Jr. would give Golovkin a hell lot of problems. Hell lot of problems. This guy's quick on his feet. He can fight at angles. He's got power. He's got speed. He can use his reach very well. So that would be a very, very difficult fight for Golovkin, and I think he should go pursue that fight. Okay, if not, go after Arizona Lara. And I know this debate has been going on for the last few months now, where Loeffner initially didn't want the Lara fight, so he ducked it. And then Lara, who was making all these call-outs to Golovkin, his management came out and openly admitted that they never really wanted to pursue a Golovkin fight. So both sides didn't want to fight each other. And I have to reiterate, I have to say that again. I will post a link to all the stories below, and since nobody wants to believe me in that situation. Okay? But if you ask me, I say that both sides need to shut the fuck up, stop the bickering, and just come together, come up with a reasonable split, and make the fight happen. Get Lara in there against Golovkin. Now, if Golovkin can beat Lara, that'd be a damn good win on his resume. From there, he'd be tested against a very, very prime and world-class fight. Not prime and world-class fighter. Now, again, to all fairness to Golovkin, this was not his fault, because this was his mandatory challenge, all right? I just think he himself is very, very frustrated that he's got to continue to fight opposition like this, and he wants to test himself. He wants to be challenged. I think he has that throwback mentality of a fighter that wants to be challenged. But then again, you have management that gets involved, and they want to approach certain fights, and they're probably looking for least risk right now. So, yeah, and... Oh man! This win right here does not do Gennady Golovkin's resume any justice whatsoever, and it further weakens it. Well, let me know what you think. I'm signing off. Peace.